Hi everyone, this is Maya and thank you so much for being here with me in another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are building the quaint seaside retirement home from the Studio Ghibli film Ponyo on a 30 by 30 lot in Tartosa for my ongoing build series #MAIAmakes Ghibli. This is up on my gallery, it's fully functional and no custom content. You can download it under my gallery ID, MAIAmakes, which is the same name as my channel. So if you want to stay tuned for my future Ghibli builds, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. As per usual in this channel, this is a late build because it is actually part of the build collab that was hosted by Gardenova Sims on Instagram. It's called the Studio Ghibli collab, where a bunch of other simmers also recreated a certain Ghibli build that they wanted. So someone recreated Howl's Moving Castle, someone recreated the bathhouse from Spirited Away, but I wanted to recreate this really simple build. It's very short, very simple, it's very small, relatively small than what the other builders did, but even if it's still quite small, yeah, this is a late build because I think I was supposed to post this last month. I did finish it on time, but I couldn't immediately release a speed build because other than being slow in building, I'm also quite slow in editing these speed builds because I edit on a very slow laptop and it takes a while to put it all together. But apologies also if it's kind of dizzying and kind of fast. Compared to my other builds, this is quite fast build because I finished it in 6 hours, I guess, which is surprising for me, but maybe for others that's kind of slow. But yeah, I am a slow builder, admittedly, and apologies again if this is too dizzying for you because I do move around a lot when I'm building and there's a lot of decision making that's going on. But I think out of all my speed builds, this would be the most realistic one because I didn't cut out my decision making process and all the other stuff that I'm doing that's not quite productive in building. But it is quite real for me to be slow in building. So I hope you do like these speed builds more. I used to make stop motion videos, but they are more tedious to edit. But I guess I would prefer speed builds because I could see the process that I'm doing here. But I don't know, how about you guys? Do you like speed builds or stop motion builds better? Do let me know because I would love to know your feedback on the content that I'm producing. I guess the best feature of this build would be the roofing. As you just saw, I did the roofing and it's quite simple except for these two very interesting roofing where I used the lights from the paranormal stuff pack to make roofs. Because I think you saw in the reference picture above that the original build did have this very colorful roofing and we couldn't do that in The Sims. Immediately when I saw that reference photo, I knew how to recreate it. That's why I wanted to build this in the first place, just because of that roofing. I guess the other parts of this retirement home are not as interesting as the roofing, but it is a Ghibli build, so I did try to make it more cluttered, more flowery, lots of plants, lots of flowers going on around, because that's kind of the Ghibli charm of every build that I do. So right now we are working on the floor plan. Essentially, it's just a recreation room to the side that's adjacent to a tiny kitchen and bathrooms with separated toilet and bath, which is common in Japan. There are 4 bedrooms, 2 have double beds, and 2 has 2 single beds. The other 2 have 2 single beds if you want that. But you can change it up if you want. There's a reception area. There's lots of seating for your elders to rest, and interestingly, outside there's a swing. Although I don't think I would recommend it for your Elder Sims because I playtested it. It works well, but I just realized that your Elder Sims do get tired more easily than your other Sims. But yeah, anyway, it is a fully functional home since we don't have retirement homes in The Sims. But I did set this as a residential lot and it's fully functional. But yeah, if you don't know what this place is or what movie am I talking about, basically Ponyo is a movie and it's a fish out of water story that centers on Ponyo, a little girl who once was a fish and who loves a human boy named Sosuke. They meet in this picturesque Ghibli town by the sea and they have a whole beautiful and sweet adventure that strengthens their bond, their friendship, and their love. It's a really cutesy story, and it's quite similar to other Disney movies like The Little Mermaid or even Luca. I just watched Luca the other day, and now I do notice some parallels between these two movies. Like, there's this gorgeous seascape meets land setting. There's a bond between a human and a fish person, air quotes fish person. The characters are running away from the worried fish parents who went to land to find for them. There's a lot more parallels. But yeah, I wanted to capture the magical, idyllic vibe of this movie. And oh, by the way, if you hear any background noises, there's like a dog barking outside our house, and there's construction ongoing, and there's a lot of people slamming doors. I'm so sorry if you hear any of those things. I could not have picked the worst time to record this voiceover. But anyway, this retirement home is where Lisa works, who is the mother of Sosuke. There were a few scenes in this movie where Sosuke visits this retirement home and he shows off his fish, Ponyo, to the grandmas there. And it's a really fun scene. There's a lot of chasing around, there's a lot of splashing water, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you. But I do recommend watching it, and it's very light at heart, child-friendly movie. Yeah, please do watch Ponyo because I really recommend that movie. When I was building this, I did use those few scenes in the movie, and I screen capped those frames as you see in the upper right corner. I'm trying to show off the reference pictures that I used from the movie, but I did notice some inconsistencies. Well, it's a cartoon, so I wouldn't blame it for its inconsistencies. But I noticed it back when I was building the house on the cliff by the sea, which was also from Ponyo. So there were these wooden stairs at the front of the house, but in another scene it turned to stone. So it kind of happened again in this build. There were these bookshelves in the background where the characters were talking, but in a different scene there were windows instead. So a lot of inconsistencies, and I did have to work through that. And I took just a few creative liberties just to make this build functional and make the floor plan more reasonable. But it all worked out well in the end, and I do believe that I somehow captured the very essence of this movie, of the scenes from this movie. So I don't know what you're going to use this build for, but if you want to recreate some scenes from that movie, or you just want to play around with your Elder Sims, feel free to download this from the gallery. You'll see later on in the build tour. I did recreate some scenes, and I also took note that we desperately need more gameplay for our elders. I mean, we have cross-stitch, we have knitting, we have gardening, but come on, other Sims could also do that. Your young adult Sims could also do that. But, I think it would be nice if we added, I don't know, aerobics or Zumba to the game. It would be fun to see that happen in The Sims. I mean, I know we could do slow dancing now with the new wedding pack, but I think a Zumba session would be so fun with their Elder Sims. Or a game of bingo. That would be amazing. And maybe with those new activities, we could actually have a retirement home, a proper lot that we can categorize as a retirement home. Because I did make this into a residential lot, and the household included some staff. So sadly, you'd have to play with the staff as well, and I don't know, accommodate them here in this slot. But I only made 4 grandmas here because again, it's quite a small build and there are only 4 rooms. Originally, I planned to do the build on the lot on the other side of this river or canal, I guess, which was 50 by 40, and it was way too big to make into a retirement home given that we don't have much activities for our elders. But my original plan when this World of Tartosa was released was to build this retirement home right next to the daycare school, like in the movie. The daycare school was where Ponyo went to, and his mother would go to her job in the daycare center. So I guess that would work out well here. So many question marks. But I think that plan changed, and I'd have to build the daycare school on the lot where. So funny. It's the isolated lot where you'd have to cross a bridge to get to. Such a fun lot to build a daycare school in. But now since we have the high school pack, I still don't have it, but we do have it now in the game. I'm not sure if it could work well as a school, although I'm doubting that it could be. If you've been a while in this channel, I've already done a couple of Ghibli builds, and you might have noticed that it takes a longer time to create than builds that I just do on my own. And all these builds are available in the gallery, or you can download the tray file in the description box of each video. These are all for free, by the way. Every builder, as far as I know, does their builds for free. But you can support me in Ko-Fi in the link below by sending a donation that would support this channel. And I really, really appreciate it if you do. I've had some donations over the last month, and I'm really super duper happy and grateful for all those. So, yeah. Speaking of donations, there's been this whole fiasco this past week with the Sims community in Twitter, in Reddit. I don't know if you know it, but there's this thing where we call custom content or CC. Basically, they're just items that were not made by the game developers themselves, but they were made by creators like me who make their own items in game, and they can be available for download by anyone on the internet. But basically, the whole issue started when a few creators set a paywall for the items that they created. I mean, usually these custom content items are for free, or if they're not for free, the creator would provide early access to those who want to pay for that item, but eventually it goes to the public for free. But there were some creators who permanently set their items to be paid, so they're never free. And as far as I know, or as far as I've heard, that some creators were accessing private information of the users who downloaded their custom content and paid for it. So there was this whole fiasco with EA announcing that they're not allowing these paywalls and other stuff. But as someone who doesn't use custom content, I was just watching it all burn to the ground, and gosh, my Twitter feed that day was just blowing up with all these issues. But in the end, as far as I know, EA does allow early access payments, but you have to set a reasonable time for it to be free to the public, and they're not allowing permanent paywalls behind these creations. Which is a good thing for CC users, but maybe a bad thing for some creators who showed their true colors on the internet. If you just saw some of the posts, it was troubling. But I realized this past week, after all that drama, that a lot of people really care about this game, especially if you pay for $20 for a pack. That is maybe why you care so much for this game. But it's nice to see this small Sims community and be part of it. I've developed some friends and some moods rather over time, and it's really a lovely community if you just ignored all that drama. It's a community, that supports each other and each other's work. It's really nice to see other people's work on my feed, and maybe that's why I'm so happy to announce that officially I am one of the new writers of the Sims community, which is one of the biggest Sims news site. You might have seen them around social media, I'm not sure. But mainly, I'm there and I'll be writing about my build tips and my build tutorials because I've realized that some people prefer that over really quick video tutorials that you see on TikTok or on YouTube. But really, it was a great opportunity to do, and I never expected to do it here. Maybe through all this YouTubing stuff and all through that social media stuff. I got this opportunity, and I'm just so happy and so thankful. And thankful for also all of you who have been supporting through my videos, and it got this much traction that I got this opportunity. If you can sense it, I'm so excited. I'm using all of my hand movements here. But yeah, thank you so much for the 100,000th time. So yeah, anyway, I'm just finishing off this build. You're so close to the end of the video. Thank you so much for still being here. If you like this video and want to see more of my builds, do like and subscribe because it really helps me out a lot. The builder's coming up, and I wish y'all have a lovely day. So see ya!
Dag dag. This samba. So. This samba. So.